About me, I'm Tyler Pryor. I'm a senior associate at Hilltop Commercial. We're a full-service commercial real estate firm. It's actually the 3rd year anniversary of me getting my license, so that happened this week. I've already messed it up. There we go. That's also my beautiful Corvette. I'm also a car guy. I love cars. What we actually do at Hilltop Commercial is we help businesses renew, relocate, renegotiate, negotiate better deals, because business owners don't always know how to negotiate the best way possible in the marketplace. And one of the most important is we help businesses purchase their location, because you can't do anything better than owning. It's just like a house. Or we help sell if it's time to sell it after you build it up. Who we typically work with? That was the Taco Bell bell. We work with beauty salons, med spas, anything retail kind of oriented. We work with restaurants. Any type of restaurant, from ice cream to ghost kitchens to full-blown scale, like 4,000 square foot Mexican style restaurants, that kind of thing. And last, my favorite, is doctors. Typically, doctors are very easy to work with. They typically know exactly what they need in their space, and you can kind of build it out. And even with doctors, you can bring in the creative side of like, hey, we can put your main office here, we can put your intake room here. You can kind of like move stuff around, and their vision isn't always there. This is what most business owners get wrong. What most business owners get wrong is they wait too long to renegotiate their lease. Guys, if you're not negotiating your lease at least 6 months before the end of your lease, you've already lost money, you've already lost time. The landlord's not going to, unless they require it in your lease, they're not going to come to you until the very end of your lease, where they have the most power, because now they have the right to kick you out if you're on a month-to-month lease, or they can just be like, hey, here's the market rate, you either pay it or you go. Whereas if you go in 6 months beforehand, you have the power of, hey, if this landlord's not going to be willing to give me TI money, if they're not willing to work with me on the rate and all that kind of stuff, you can go somewhere else. And that usually takes about 3 months. So that's why you want to start negotiating about 6 months ahead of time. Need something? Knowing the market and trusting your landlord is a bad idea. The landlord's there to make money, guys. It's like Mr. Krabs. He will take the money if you're going to let him have it, okay? Landlords are in the business of making money, guys. They own the building. They're there to make a profit on the building. If they can get a higher rate than the market rate, and as you know, typically with homes as well, people think that what they have is worth more than everybody else's. So, which is not typically the case. The landlords typically are high, the market's in the middle, and then the tenant wants low. So you got to find that medium ground. You got to be willing to make a deal. The other big thing is that business owners think that having representation costs them money. Guys, when you're the tenant, having a tenant rep broker, the landlord pays our commissions, okay? So it's having somebody that knows the market, can go and look at the market and make sure you guys are getting a fair deal, a fair price, and everything like that is going correctly, and the landlord pays our commission. So that's less money out of your pocket and more money into your business, and that you can save and have for your family and all that kind of stuff. The key things to negotiate when you are negotiating with landlord is tenant improvement money. In our world, we call it TI, but I didn't want to just do the abbreviation. So tenant improvement money can go from anything from flooring to new sheetrock, new paint, new tape bed texture, new walls, HVAC. It can kind of go down, the whole construction side of the building. Rent abatement can also be, just because you didn't get it on your first term, or just because you've already been leasing there, doesn't mean you can't get more rent abatement. I've seen up to 6 to 8 months of rent abatement because of how drastically the rate was at the end of their lease compared to where the market was. Okay, so you can negotiate a lot of rent abatement or a lot of money back in your business. And the other big thing, a big cost is HVAC. So you can always change your HVAC clause in your lease. Typically, like most older buildings have a unit called R22, which is going away. And it's hard to find the fueling for it, hard to find all that. And for you as a business owner, that's a $15,000 expense if that HVAC goes out, because it's even more money to replace a R22 unit currently. So this is what we do as a broker, is we ask for money back from the landlord, and Mr. Krabs is not happy because he doesn't like giving away his money. Guys, I've personally seen people not negotiate. They don't understand their lease. They don't have someone representing them. And they've gone into a retail space and they leased their space not knowing the HVAC was broken because they didn't know they needed to get it inspected. They expected the landlord to provide a well space, but that's not their job. So they ended up having to pay $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 for a brand new HVAC week one of moving into their space. Mm-hmm. So now it's story time. We just recently had a client that needed more space. Their office couldn't provide it. And we ended up getting them around $70,000 worth of TI money into their new space to help them build out their space the way they needed it into a flex space. The landlord, we did the math, the landlord doesn't make profit on the space until 3.5 years into the lease. So that's a very good deal for your tenant. They're only making money on 1.5 years, almost 2 years of the space. The landlord's not happy with that. The restaurant, we also had a restaurant space that needed a ghost kitchen, and we found a very cheap property that was owned by a local in Keller, which is not common. And we got the landlord to put in a 20-foot vent hood, which a 20-foot vent hood cost quite a bit of money. I think it was upper in the $30,000 to $40,000 range. I might be a little off on that, but it's not cheap. So you can negotiate things like that. You can have the landlord put things in for you. Who I'm looking to meet is business owners with leases looking to expire within the next 6 to 18 months. Preferably around that 8-month mark is where you want to start talking to a broker and kind of get a plan going so that you can go into the negotiation at 6 months. Owners ready for locations 2 through 10. We love businesses that are ready to expand. It's easy. They already have their footprint. They know what they need, and it's easy to go find them and replicate exactly what they have in the new market where it's good, and their business will profit. And then anybody unhappy with their landlord. This could be a lot of people. So if you have a Boston Tea Party moment and you're not happy with your landlord, you can always move. You can always find somewhere. And then this is just a person. People with stupid amounts of money. They don't always know what they're doing, and then they don't know what to buy. They don't know what to do, and they end up making bad decisions. Okay, does anybody have any questions for me?
What is a ghost kitchen?
So a ghost kitchen is like a kitchen that you make all the food at, and then you take it to your actual location that's just like a storefront that's a small square footage space. And then you can also cook for other businesses. So they do a lot of, like, they have chefs come in and rent part of their kitchen, and then they can use their kitchen to build all the food, and then they take it out locations, or it's like a quick go. It's like you don't really sit down. It's like a grab and go kind of kitchen. Does anybody else have any questions?